and couldn't get you and paid him.
You already paid him?
I did pay him.
How many monies?
$6,000.
When most people think of Gas Monkey Garage, they picture high-octane car builds and Richard Rawlings wheeling and dealing. But the real power behind the chaos was a tattooed office manager who got her job because her husband did Richard's hair, battled cancer while keeping the garage running, and once did 22 push-ups daily to honor fallen veterans. From her worst tattoo ever that reminds her how stupid she was at 18 to briefly joining OnlyFans after beating cancer, Christie Brimberry's story is far more surprising than her tough-as-nails television persona suggests. Here are 15 things you never knew about Christie Brimberry from Fast and Loud. Fact 1. Hairstylist husband got her the job. Most people assume Christie Brimberry landed her role at Gas Monkey Garage through her impressive management skills or automotive knowledge, but the real story behind how she got hired is much more personal and frankly pretty funny. The truth is that Christie's entire television career and her spot as the office manager of one of the most famous custom car shops in America happened because her husband wouldn't stop bugging his client about giving his wife a Gruels and Levin job. Darren Brimberry, Christie's husband, is a professional hairstylist who owns 2 successful salons in Texas called Muse the Salon and Craft & Company Salon. As it turns out, one of his regular clients was none other than Richard Rawlings, the owner of Gas Monkey Garage and the star of Fast and Loud. During their appointments, Darren kept bringing up the idea of Christie working at the garage, suggesting that she would be perfect for helping manage the business side of operations. According to Christie herself, Richard didn't initially jump at the idea of hiring someone's wife, but Darren was persistent about it and kept mentioning it during every hair appointment. Eventually, Richard got so tired of hearing about it that he decided the easiest way to handle the situation was to just give Christie a chance and see what happened. As Richard later admitted, he basically agreed to audition Christie just to get Darren off his back and stop the constant requests during what should have been relaxing salon visits. What started as Richard trying to appease his hairstylist turned into one of the best hiring decisions he ever made. Christie quickly proved herself invaluable to the Gas Monkey Garage operation, handling everything from accounting and scheduling to keeping the rowdy mechanics in line. Her no-nonsense attitude and organizational skills made her the perfect person to manage the chaos of a busy custom car shop, and she became such an integral part of the business that fans of the show often considered her just as important as Richard himself. The irony is that without Darren's persistence during those hair appointments, Christie might never have become the beloved television personality that Fast and Loud fans came to know and love. Fact 2. Voice box nerve severed during cancer surgery. In October of 2016, Christie Brimberry faced what should have been a routine cancer surgery, but what happened during the operation turned into a medical complication that would silence one of Fast and Loud's most outspoken personalities for months. During the procedure to remove a cancerous lymph node from her thyroid, surgeons accidentally cut the nerve that controlled her voice box, leaving Christie completely unable to speak. The surgery itself was necessary because Christie had been diagnosed with thyroid cancer earlier that year after discovering a small knot in her throat during a routine checkup in late August. What started as a simple examination quickly turned serious when doctors confirmed that the growth was malignant and had already begun spreading to her lymph nodes and part of her trachea. The medical team determined that they needed to remove not just her thyroid gland, but also the affected lymph nodes and a portion of her trachea to prevent the cancer from spreading further. Unfortunately, the complexity of the surgery led to an unexpected and devastating side effect that would dramatically impact Christie's daily life and her role on the television show. When surgeons were working to remove the cancerous tissue near her throat, they inadvertently severed the recurrent laryngeal nerve, which is the crucial nerve that controls the vocal cords and allows people to speak normally. Christie was brutally honest with her fans about the aftermath of this surgical complication, posting on social media to explain her situation. She wrote that the doctors had told her she would have no voice for an extended period, possibly up to 6 months, and that she would need a breathing tube inserted directly into her throat to help her breathe properly. The tube was removed within a day, but the damage to her voice was expected to be much longer lasting. Despite the frightening prospect of potentially never speaking normally again, Christie remained remarkably positive about her situation and used her experience to encourage her fans to get regular medical checkups and take any unusual symptoms seriously, especially anything involving lumps or growths in the neck area. Fact 3. Her worst tattoo is her favorite. Christie Brimberry has numerous tattoos covering her body, from elaborate sleeve work on her right arm to various designs scattered across her legs and torso. But when fans ask her about her favorite piece of ink, her answer might surprise you. Her most beloved tattoo isn't one of the professionally done pieces created by her trusted Dallas artists, Stephen Hibbs and Mark Thompson, but rather the very first tattoo she got when she was just 18 years old, which she openly admits is also the worst one she's ever had. During a fan question and answer session for Gas Monkey Garage, Christie was asked directly about which of her many tattoos held the most meaning for her, and her response was refreshingly honest and self-deprecating. She explained that her favorite tattoo is located on her ankle and consists of a simple barbed wire design that she got as a teenager. While she didn't go into specific details about what the tattoo looks like or exactly where she got it done, Christie was very clear about why this particular piece of body art holds such a special place in her heart, despite its poor quality. According to Christie, the ankle tattoo serves as a permanent reminder of a time in her life when she made decisions without fully thinking them through. She said that every time she looks at this tattoo, it brings back memories of being young and impulsive, and it helps keep her grounded by reminding her of how much she's grown and matured since then. In her own words, the tattoo is, quote, "a constant reminder of how stupid I was when I was 18 years old." What makes this admission even more interesting is that Christie has gone on to get many more tattoos over the years, working with skilled artists to create much more elaborate and technically superior pieces. She's clearly learned to appreciate good tattoo work and has invested in quality ink, but she's never had that first amateur tattoo covered up or removed. Instead, she's chosen to keep it as a visible symbol of personal growth and a reminder to always think carefully before making permanent decisions. Fact 4 to 22-day push-up challenge for veterans. Christie Brimberry showed her dedication to supporting military veterans in a very public and physically demanding way when she committed to completing a 22-day push-up challenge, posting videos of herself doing the exercises every single day, even when she was feeling unwell. This wasn't just a fitness trend or personal workout routine, but rather a deliberate effort to bring attention to one of the most serious issues facing American veterans today. The challenge was specifically designed to raise awareness about veteran suicide, with the number 22 being tragically significant because it represents the average number of United States military veterans who take their own lives every single day due to depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. Christie explained in her Facebook posts that she was participating in this challenge because she wanted to show support for veterans and help spread the word that there are resources available for those who are struggling with mental health issues. What made Christie's participation in this challenge particularly impressive was her commitment to posting a video every day for the full 22 days. Regardless of how she was feeling physically, she documented days when she was sick and struggling to complete the exercises, but she pushed through anyway because she understood the importance of the message she was trying to share. In her posts, she would remind her followers about the veteran suicide crisis and provide the phone number for the Military Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is 1-800-2738-255. The rules of the challenge were straightforward, but allowed for different fitness levels, which made it accessible to more people who wanted to participate. Participants had to record themselves doing 22 push-ups every day. And Christie explained that the push-ups could be modified for people with different abilities, including assisted push-ups done on the knees, incline push-ups against a desk or wall, or even air push-ups for those who were physically unable to do traditional ones. Throughout her 22 days of participation, Christie also made sure to nominate different people each day to take on the challenge themselves, helping to spread the message even further and encouraging her network of friends and followers to get involved in supporting veterans. Fact 5. 6 children from 2 marriages. While Christie Brimberry was managing the chaos at Gas Monkey Garage and appearing on a hit television show, she was also juggling an incredibly demanding home life that most fans never knew about, because she's actually the mother of 6 children from 2 different marriages. This massive family responsibility makes her ability to maintain her professional career and television appearances even more impressive when you consider the sheer logistics of managing that many kids alongside everything else she had going on. Christie's 2 oldest children come from her first marriage, which she keeps relatively private and doesn't discuss much in interviews or on social media. Her eldest child is a son named Malik Greenidge, who was born in July of 1997, making him one of the older kids in the family. Her second child from that first marriage is a daughter named Jordan Greenidge, who was born about 2 years after Malik in 1999. Both of these children have achieved some notable accomplishments that Christie has proudly shared on her social media accounts over the years. Malik graduated from college in May of 2016, which was a milestone that Christie celebrated publicly, showing how proud she was of his educational achievements. Jordan has also made her mark, but in a completely different field, as she became a talented dancer and even won the MA National Dance Competition during the 2016 to 2017 season, representing her school's dance team with distinction. The remaining 4 children in Christie's large family come from her current marriage to Darren Brimberry, though she tends to keep more details about the younger kids private, likely to protect their privacy since they're still growing up. Managing a household with 6 children while working full-time at a busy custom car shop and filming a television show would be overwhelming for most people, but Christie seemed to handle it all with the same no-nonsense efficiency that made her so valuable at Gas Monkey Garage. The fact that she could balance being a mother to 6 kids while also being the person responsible for keeping Richard Rawlings and his crew organized really shows just how capable and organized Christie truly is behind the scenes. Fact 6. Called herself the Zookeeper. Christie Brimberry had one of the most creative and accurate job descriptions you'll ever hear when she described her role at Gas Monkey Garage, because instead of using typical corporate titles like office manager or administrative assistant, she preferred to call herself the Zookeeper of the operation. This wasn't just a funny nickname she came up with for laughs, but rather a very deliberate description that perfectly captured what her daily work life was really like at one of the most chaotic custom car shops in America. The reason Christie chose this particular title becomes clear when you understand that Gas Monkey Garage had already established a whole theme around monkeys, which is obviously where the business got its name in the first place. The employees and mechanics who worked there were often referred to as the Monkey Crew, or just monkeys. And this wasn't meant as an insult, but rather as part of the playful, energetic culture that Richard Rawlings had created for his business. The garage embraced this wild, slightly out-of-control atmosphere that matched the high-energy car builds and fast-paced deadlines they were constantly working with. Christie's job as the so-called zookeeper was to make sure that all of these monkeys stayed focused and productive, instead of getting too carried away with the fun and games. She was responsible for keeping track of schedules, making sure projects stayed on budget, handling customer communications, and, most importantly, making sure that the mechanics and other staff members didn't get so distracted by their antics that they forgot to actually finish the cars they were supposed to be working on. This role required someone with a very specific set of skills, because Christie had to be firm enough to command respect from a bunch of guys who were used to working in a very relaxed, informal environment, but also flexible enough to understand that creativity and a little bit of chaos were actually important parts of what made Gas Monkey Garage successful. She had to know when to crack the whip and get everyone back on task, and when to let the monkey crew have their fun because it was helping them stay motivated and productive. Fact 7. Cancer treatment cost nearly bankrupted her. Christie Brimberry was brutally honest with her fans about the devastating financial impact of her cancer treatment, revealing in a Facebook post that the cost of her extensive surgery and medical care would have been enough to financially destroy most families. When some followers criticized her for posting sponsored content and promotional material on her social media accounts, Christie responded with a raw explanation of why she had started using her online platforms to generate income. And her answer shed light on just how expensive fighting cancer can be in America. In her Facebook response to the criticism, Christie explained that she had been diagnosed with cancer in August of 2016 and had undergone what she described as extensive surgery and treatment that followed. She made it clear that the medical bills from her cancer care were astronomical, writing that the costs, quote, would financially ruin most people, and she wasn't exaggerating about the severity of the financial burden her illness had created for her family. Rather than hide this struggle or pretend that everything was fine financially, Christie chose to be completely transparent with her followers about why she had increased her social media activity and started accepting more paid partnerships and sponsored content deals. She explained that what some people were calling bullshit content was actually helping her pay the massive medical bills that had accumulated during her cancer treatment, and she pointed out that this income was literally helping to keep her alive by ensuring she could afford the care she needed. The post received an overwhelming response from her fans, with more than 20,000 likes in less than 24 hours, showing just how much support Christie had from people who understood the impossible situation that serious illness can create for American families. Her willingness to discuss the financial reality of cancer treatment openly was both brave and educational, because it highlighted how even people with steady jobs and some level of fame can be pushed to the brink of financial ruin when faced with major medical expenses. Christie's situation also demonstrated how social media can become a lifeline for people facing medical crises, providing a way to generate additional income during times when traditional work might not be possible. Fact 8. Managing hyperactive. Tom Smith. One of Christie Brimberry's most challenging and entertaining responsibilities at Gas Monkey Garage was dealing with mechanic Tom Smith, whose hyperactive personality required constant management that made Christie feel more like a kindergarten teacher than an office manager. Tom was known throughout the shop for his incredibly high energy levels and his tendency to get so excited about projects that he would completely lose control of his volume and behavior, creating disruptions that could throw off the entire workflow of the garage. Christie described the situation in very candid terms during behind-the-scenes interviews, explaining that managing Tom was like dealing with a hyperactive child who didn't understand appropriate indoor behavior. She said that she constantly had to remind Tom that he was inside the building and needed to keep his voice down, because when he got excited about a car project or started joking around with the other mechanics, his volume would increase to levels that were disruptive to everyone else trying to work. According to Christie, there were really only two options when it came to handling Tom's outbursts of hyperactive behavior. She could either tell him to quiet down and behave appropriately for an indoor workspace, or she would have to kick him outside until he could calm down and return to a more reasonable energy level. Christie described Tom as getting, quote, really loud and obnoxious, like a really bad hyperactive kid, when he wasn't being monitored and managed properly. The situation was made even more amusing by the fact that Tom was a grown man and a skilled mechanic. But his personality was so over the top that Christie had to treat him like a misbehaving student. She even joked about Tom's unusual strength and energy levels, saying that he had what she called crazy ape strength, and describing him as someone who wasn't particularly athletic or fast, but had this weird ability to overpower people just through sheer weight and persistence. Despite the constant need for management, Tom's enthusiasm and energy were actually valuable to the Gas Monkey Garage team, so Christie's job was to find ways to channel his hyperactive tendencies in productive directions, rather than letting them become a distraction for the rest of the crew. Fact 9. Briefly joined OnlyFans after cancer. In 2021, Christie Brimberry made a surprising career move that caught many of her longtime fans off guard when she decided to briefly explore the subscription-based platform OnlyFans as part of her post-television career reinvention. This decision came several years after she had successfully beaten cancer and was looking for new ways to generate income and express her newfound confidence in her body and personal brand, following her recovery from the life-threatening illness. The timing of Christie's venture into OnlyFans was significant because it represented a major shift in how she viewed herself and her career after going through such a traumatic health experience. Having survived thyroid cancer and the complicated surgery that followed, Christie had developed a much stronger sense of personal empowerment and was no longer afraid to take risks or explore opportunities that she might have avoided in the past. Her decision to join the platform was described as being motivated by her desire to emphasize both her confidence and her financial independence during a period when she was actively working to rebuild her career after leaving Fast N. Loud. This move was part of a broader pattern of Christie diversifying her income streams and exploring different aspects of personal branding that went well beyond her traditional role as a reality television personality. During this same time period, she was also getting involved in modeling work, collaborating with various brands, and building up her social media presence in ways that allowed her to monetize her fame more directly than she had been able to do while working at Gas Monkey Garage. While Christie's time on OnlyFans was relatively brief, it demonstrated her willingness to explore unconventional career paths and showed that she wasn't interested in being limited by other people's expectations about what a former reality television star should or shouldn't do with her life. The decision also reflected the confidence she had gained through surviving cancer and proved that she was determined to take control of her own financial future, rather than relying on traditional employment or television appearances to support herself and her large family. Fact 10. 4 dogs with unique names. Christie Brimberry's love for animals, particularly dogs, is one of her most endearing qualities that fans discovered through her active social media presence, and her household includes 4 beloved canine companions with distinctly memorable names that reflect her fun-loving personality. While managing 6 children and a demanding career would be enough to keep most people busy, Christie has also made room in her life and home for a pack of dogs that she treats like additional family members. 2 of Christie's dogs are bulldogs, a breed known for their sturdy build and distinctive wrinkled faces, and she's given them names that perfectly capture their personalities and appearance. The first bulldog is named Lulu, a sweet and feminine name that contrasts nicely with the breed's tough exterior, while the second bulldog has the much more intimidating name of Hank the Tank, which obviously plays on both the human name Hank and references the dog's solid, tank-like build that bulldogs are famous for. Her other 2 dogs have equally interesting names that show Christie's creativity when it comes to naming her pets. One is named Tyson, which could be a reference to the famous boxer Mike Tyson, and suggests that this particular dog might have a strong or feisty personality, while the 4th dog is named Hugo, a name that has a slightly more sophisticated European feel compared to the others, Christie regularly shares photos and videos of her 4 dogs on her various social media platforms, giving fans a glimpse into her home life that goes beyond her television persona and shows her softer, more nurturing side. These posts often feature the dogs in various situations around her home, sometimes interacting with her children or just lounging around the house, and they consistently receive positive responses from her followers who enjoy seeing this more personal aspect of her life. In April of 2017, Christie even expanded her dog family further by adopting a Rhodesian Ridgeback named Sydney, though it's not clear whether Sydney is still part of the household or if this was a temporary addition to the family. The Rhodesian Ridgeback is a much larger breed compared to bulldogs, originally bred for hunting lions in Africa, so adding Sydney would have significantly changed the dynamics of Christie's dog pack. Fact 11. YouTube channel launched at age 50. Christie Brimberry proved that it's never too late to start something new when she decided to launch her own YouTube channel in 2022 at the age of 50, showing that she wasn't content to just rest on her past television success, but was determined to keep building her personal brand and connecting with fans in new ways. This move into YouTube represented a significant shift for Christie, who was taking control of her own content creation rather than relying on traditional television networks or other people's platforms to showcase her personality and interests. The timing of Christie's YouTube venture was particularly interesting because it came at a point in her life when many people might have been thinking about slowing down or retiring from public life, but instead, she chose to embrace the digital age and learn an entirely new set of skills related to video production, editing, and online marketing. At 50 years old, Christie was jumping into a platform that's often dominated by much younger creators, but she brought her own unique perspective and life experience that set her content apart from typical YouTube videos. The content Christie chose to focus on for her YouTube channel reflected the different aspects of her life that fans had always been curious about, but hadn't seen much of during her fast and loud days. Her vlogs covered her travels to different places, giving viewers a chance to experience various destinations through her eyes and learn about the places she visits with her family. She also shared content about her family life, offering glimpses into what it's like to manage a household with 6 children and showing the more personal side of her daily routine that television cameras never captured. Additionally, Christie made sure to include car culture content on her channel, which was a smart way to connect her new YouTube audience with her existing fan base from the automotive television world. This combination of travel, family, and car-related content created a well-rounded channel that appealed to different types of viewers and helped her build a substantial following. By 2025, Christie's YouTube channel had attracted over 100,000 subscribers, which is an impressive achievement for someone who started creating content relatively late in life and demonstrates that her authentic personality and diverse interests resonated with online audiences. Fact 12. Co-owns hair salons with husband. After leaving her role at Gas Monkey Garage and stepping away from the Fast and Loud television series, Christie Brimberry didn't just retire from the business world, but instead partnered with her husband Darren to expand their entrepreneurial ventures into the beauty industry by co-owning 2 successful hair salons in the Dallas area. This business partnership made perfect sense, given that Darren had already established himself as a skilled hairstylist and salon owner, and Christie brought her proven management skills and business acumen from her years of running the office operations at one of America's most famous custom car shops. The first salon in their business portfolio is called Muse Salon Dallas, which Darren had been operating successfully even before Christie became more involved as a co-owner. Muse Salon Dallas has built a strong reputation in the competitive Dallas beauty market and has even received recognition as one of the best salons in the city, showing that Darren's skills as a hairstylist translated well into running a successful business operation. The second salon in their joint venture is called Craft and Company Salon, which represents an expansion of their business footprint and demonstrates their confidence in the Dallas market for high-quality hair services. Having 2 salon locations allows them to serve a broader customer base and provides more opportunities for revenue generation, which was particularly important for Christie as she was transitioning away from her television income and looking for new ways to support her large family. Christie's involvement in the salon business makes sense when you consider her background in managing operations, handling, scheduling, dealing with customers, and keeping everything running smoothly, all of which are essential skills for running successful service businesses like hair salons. Her experience at Gas Monkey Garage, where she had to coordinate multiple projects, manage staff, and keep customers happy, provided her with exactly the kind of organizational and people management skills that are crucial for salon operations. In 2022, Christie and Darren further expanded their salon empire by opening a second location, showing that their business partnership was not only successful, but growing, and providing Christie with a solid foundation for her post-television career. Fact 13. Personal media was hacked. In 2021, Christie Brimberry became the victim of a serious privacy violation when hackers managed to gain unauthorized access to her personal accounts and leaked some of her private media online without her consent. This type of cyber attack has unfortunately become more common as celebrities and public figures increasingly use digital platforms to store personal photos and communicate with friends and family, making them attractive targets for people looking to exploit private information for malicious purposes. The hacking incident was particularly troubling for Christie because it represented a major invasion of her personal space and privacy at a time when she was already dealing with the challenges of rebuilding her career and personal brand, after leaving Fast and Loud and recovering from her battle with cancer. Having private media shared without permission is a traumatic experience for anyone, but it's especially difficult for public figures who are already living much of their lives in the spotlight and value what little privacy they can maintain. The breach affected Christie's sense of security and forced her to deal with the embarrassment and stress of knowing that personal content meant only for her close friends and family had been distributed to strangers on the internet. This kind of violation can have lasting psychological effects and often makes victims feel vulnerable and exposed in ways that extend far beyond the immediate incident. Fortunately for Christie, the situation was eventually resolved and the breach was fixed, meaning that her personal space and digital security were restored to some degree. However, the process of cleaning up after a hacking incident like this can be time-consuming and expensive, often requiring the help of cybersecurity experts and legal professionals to ensure that all traces of the leaked material are removed from various websites and platforms. The incident also served as a reminder of how important digital security has become for anyone with a public profile, and it likely prompted Christie to take additional steps to protect her online accounts and personal information. Many celebrities and public figures have had to invest significantly in cybersecurity measures and digital privacy protection as these types of attacks have become more frequent and sophisticated over the years. Fact 14. Featured in only 55 of 100 episodes. Despite becoming one of the most popular and recognizable faces on Fast and Loud, Christie Brimberry actually appeared in far fewer episodes than most fans realize, with her on-screen presence limited to just 55 out of the show's 100 total episodes that aired between 2012 and 2018. This surprising statistic reveals that Christie was much more selective about her television appearances than viewers might have expected, considering how integral she seemed to the Gas Monkey Garage operation and how much fans loved seeing her interactions with Richard Rawlings and the rest of the crew. The fact that Christie appeared in only about half of the show's episodes suggests that she maintained significant control over when and how often she wanted to be featured on camera, which is unusual for someone in her position as an employee of the garage that was the central focus of the series. Most reality television shows require their main cast members to participate in the majority of episodes, but Christie seemed to have negotiated a different arrangement that allowed her to balance her television commitments with her other responsibilities and personal preferences. This selective approach to her television career might have been influenced by her desire to maintain some level of privacy for herself and her large family, or it could have been related to the demands of actually running the business operations at Gas Monkey Garage, while also dealing with the disruptions that come with having television cameras and production crews constantly around the Tuyo workplace. Managing the day-to-day operations of a busy custom car shop while also participating in a reality television show would have created significant scheduling conflicts and competing priorities. Christie's limited episode count also highlights just how memorable and impactful her appearances were. Because even though she was only featured in roughly half of the show's episodes, she still managed to become one of the most beloved cast members and developed a devoted fan following that has continued long after the show ended. Her ability to make such a strong impression with relatively fewer on-screen appearances demonstrates her natural charisma and the authentic way she connected with viewers during the episodes where she did choose to participate. Fact 15. Drives modified black Jeep Wrangler. While Gas Monkey Garage was famous for building and restoring exotic muscle cars, classic hot rods, and expensive luxury vehicles that could sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars, Christie Brimberry's personal choice of daily transportation was surprisingly practical and down-to-earth compared to the flashy automobiles that surrounded her at work every day. Instead of driving one of the high-performance cars that made the garage famous, Christie chose a customized black Jeep Wrangler TJ as her personal vehicle, showing that her automotive preferences leaned more toward rugged utility than showroom glamour. The Jeep Wrangler TJ generation was produced from 1997 to 2006 and is known for its distinctive round headlights, which give it a classic appearance that connects it to the original military Jeeps from World War II. Christie's particular Jeep features these iconic round headlights along with orange reflectors on the front grille, which not only serve a practical safety function but also add to the vehicle's tough, utilitarian appearance that perfectly matches her no-nonsense personality. Rather than having the Gas Monkey Garage crew work on her personal vehicle, Christie took her Jeep to Collins Brothers Jeep, a specialist shop that focuses specifically on post-1976 Jeep models and has expertise in restoration and modification of these particular vehicles. Dennis Collins, who runs Collins Brothers Jeep, is known for his work on Jeep Wranglers and has the specialized knowledge needed to properly modify these vehicles while maintaining their reliability and off-road capability. The modifications made to Christie's Jeep include several features that enhance both its appearance and functionality, with the all-black paint job giving it a more aggressive and intimidating look compared to standard factory colors. The customization also includes off-road-oriented upgrades, like a winch mounted on the front bumper for pulling the vehicle out of difficult situations, and a roof-mounted light bar that provides additional illumination for night driving or off-road adventures. Christie's choice to drive a modified Jeep Wrangler rather than one of the exotic cars from Gas Monkey Garage reflects her practical approach to life and shows that she values functionality and reliability over flashiness and status symbols, which is consistent with her straightforward personality that made her such a fan favorite on the show.